Welcome to Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis. So we're going to take a deep dive into the new Vcore 95. Is it as good as my favorite one here? Does it have Regna characteristics? Stay tuned. All right, coffee sponsor of today is Scott. Scott writes, for Simona and Palo Alto tennis babes. My wife is part of an informal group called PA Tennis Babes, and she continually streams your channel after learning about tennis spin from my YouTube habits. At first, she was always like, why are you listening to that guy? Now she blasting tennis spin every day around the house as she has become an avid tennis player. She thinks your commentary is very deep, thinks that your perspective on tennis gear and equipment is similar to human-human relationships. So she reads deep into your YouTube videos. The question I want to ask for her is, do your videos ever symbolize something deeper than tennis? Thanks for your time raising our collective enthusiasm for the game. Whoa, Scott, Simona, Palo Alto tennis babes, thank you for the coffee. You know, yes and yes. I feel like this is very, very deep. I should probably do a video on this by itself because tennis, the equipment, you know, it's like a person. Yeah, it's like a teddy bear, guys, okay? And human interaction, how we treat people on the court, the formality of the game itself, I feel like, you know, there's a lot of humanistic features of the game. You know, there's a win, there's a loss, there's a risk-reward factor in the game of tennis, just like the game of life. You know, it's kind of like the board game from back in the day. You can be a winner at the game of life. You know, it's kind of like that. It's like a board game. Tennis is similar to that. So it just depends what you do, what your risk factors are, how you choose to manage those risks is kind of what tennis is about. But yeah, let me dive even deeper on that. I'm going to take your comment and actually maybe make a full video on that one. All right? Guys, thank you so much. I appreciate the coffee. Yeah, I think tennis is its own human entity, and I live it every day. All right? If you want to be my coffee sponsor of the day, network is buymeacoffee.com/tennis spin. Thank you all in advance. If you want to just contribute to the channel, super thanks is the way. Link is below. Okay, so let me take a slug out of my dark roast here. All right, so we got Vcore 95, new one. My favorite one. We got Dan with the Regna. And I actually called Dan in because I wanted him to look at these rackets. I mean, my favorite racket of the 95 has always been this red one. And I really like the Regna 98. But let's see what they did with the new 95 to see if there are any features that we would actually like or love. Okay, so my favorite 95 of all time, Regna in-house. It's a lot for this one to handle or compare to. So, Dan the man's coming right now. All right, so my man, Dan, the science man of tennis rackets, is here. I had him go out and play with the new 95 yesterday. He owns a Regna version 2 98. So this is probably the industry standard in 98 is probably the best one around that people can't afford. So that's why I really don't talk about it too much. But if you can get the Regna 98, get the Regna 98, okay? So would you agree with me on that?
I would agree. It's sort of unobtainium, but you know, if you're a collector and you enjoy fine things, it's definitely a worthy experience. Absolutely.
So what I'd like to tell people is, if you're a collector, maybe buy one less racket and buy a Regna, because it's like 2 for 1 there. You give up 2 rackets, but you get 1 good one.
Absolutely.
All right. I'm just trying to justify you buying a Regna.
It's a good Christmas present.
Exactly. To yourself.
And they're available right now.
They are. They are. From our friends, just Google it. You'll find it. So you tried the new Vcore 95. In the old version, you can hang on to that.
I got to be careful. I don't want to grab it out of here.
In the old version, I deemed it as this one, as the best 95 ever in this model. And this is supposedly back to that. Now, unfortunately, you haven't tried that before, but we'll get you into one soon, because we have to have you do the experience.
I'm playing at noon, so if you get that experiment, or I'll do it myself.
Okay, we'll get there. Okay. We'll get there. But you have already played with the industry standard in 98s, and I've always felt like that version of the 95 has Regna specifics and has Regna characteristics. But since you know this and you now know that, let's put these two together now. What did you feel, Dan?
Yeah. So first of all, when I test a racket, I don't just go out and hit back and forth a little bit. Obviously, that'll give you an initial impression. When I test a racket, to really understand a racket, I go out and battle for a couple of hours. And so yesterday we did a couple of hours of just playing out points. And so I'd serve for maybe 20, 30 minutes straight. The other guy would serve 20, 30 minutes straight. So I want to serve with a racket till my arm is going to fall off, to really replicate that second and third set. So just put it in context. Swing speeds might go down a little bit. They're going to vary a lot. You know, when you're hitting a ball, you're hitting at a high, consistent swing speed. When you're playing, you're going to have a slow speed, a fast speed, a serve, a volley, and overhead. So I'm really getting a full, well-rounded view of a piece of equipment, and I'll know how it's going to perform for me. The second thing I'll say is, we don't really need to do a review of this racket. We say that you shouldn't buy anything based on looks. However, this is what I call the wallet dropper. Okay, you're going to go on the store and you're going to see this bad boy on the shelf, and it's like a Ferrari. Okay, is a Ferrari the most practical thing to take to the market every day?
No.
Not really.
But if you can do it.
But you're going to look at this and say, I have to have it, and you're not going to be disappointed. You'll like the way it plays. So that we could end. That's a short story. Just buy it because it's beautiful and it's fine. The longer version is it plays really well. It's really interesting. It's got, you want to do a couple specs?
Sure.
To talk about the racket? Why don't you
let's
kind of go through.
I'll hold it up.
Yeah. So just a real quick perspective. So when I started playing with it, this is a swing weight of 326. And this is not grams, by the way. This is kilograms per centimeter square. So it's not an equal measure to weight, which is in grams. So 326 swing weight is about an average swing weight, average plus. A weight of 324 is not an overly heavy racket. When I started playing with it, I felt like I needed a little more weight up on the top. And so I actually added, I added five grams of weight at the top and a damper just to see, because I usually play with a damper, try to save my arm. So dramatically, so this is 5 and 3, that's 8 grams of weight above the balance point. Changes the swing weight to 347, which is a huge increase from 326. The overall weight went up again, the sort of 8 gram difference. And it felt much smoother. It would have more plow through, more head weight. But towards the end of the session, you start getting tired. I actually pulled everything off, went back to the spec, and it actually felt better. I think it was getting warmer outside. The strings in the racket were warming up. And so, unless you have elbow issues and use a damper, this was actually a nice spec. Now the way it plays in that configuration is it's a very precise racket. I think of rackets like a hammer or a scalpel. I felt like this is more of a scalpel, even though it's got a pretty decent swing weight. It's a little bit headlight. You can see that, and you can feel that when you play with it. So what does that do? When you're tired, when your swing speed slows down, you can actually swing at the ball with this racket without over-hitting it.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get some great precision off of it with a more medium swing weight. So I enjoyed this racket, okay? This is a very fine racket. I think if you like a big, heavy plow-through racket, this isn't going to be your cup of tea, but no racket is for everyone, and I'm sure there's other rackets in the line that give you that more head-heavy feel. And again, adding the weight to it, which is very simple. I use those tungsten strips, and a completely different racket, and gives you that plow-through. So it's immensely customizable to go from the scalpel to more of the hammer feel. And I enjoyed this. I think, again, it was precise ground strokes, precise volleys. I didn't have as much power anywhere, but I was able to really place the ball. I think serves and returns were pretty decent. Maneuverability is fantastic. If you like a maneuverable racket, you're gonna love this.
Yep, I remember that in the older version of it, and I hit with it with Coach Rob yesterday, and we were hearing the popping noise off of the string, like you're hitting center, bing, bing, bing. I mean, after about a 10-minute warm up, we were hauling on it, and yeah, it reacts. You swing, it reacts. What did you think? I mean, you can see that on the top, even on the Regna, is a little tighter. They've expanded this to make it wider and square, right? Did you notice more power in there, compared to Regna?
Yeah, so we talked about this on the other video where they widened out this isometric shape, and so you can see it fans out more at the top to give it a little more sweet spot. And they also widened this beam up at the top a little bit to give it a little more sort of power and feel on the upper hits. So I can't say I can compare it to anything. It felt pretty good. I can't really. It's hard to compare to the Regna, even if you even look at specs. One of the problems with understanding the Regna is apparently there's 3 different composites inside this racket. There's 3 different carbon fiber layups, and I can't tell you what's where and what effect it has. All I know is this racket is magic. It is magic. You do stuff with this racket that you can't even understand what happened because it's so
it's stiff where it needs to be.
It's got a lot. You can generate tons of power with this racket somehow, and I don't know how it does that, because if you look at the specs.
Yeah, here we go.
So you look at the swing weight, 328, and the overall weight of 324. Look, it's almost identical. Look at that weight and swing weight within 2 points. So the specs can be identical, and guess what? This has more weight on the top. That one was more head light. So the Regna, and again, it's not a big difference, but when you look at swing weight and balance, it's a very confusing set of dimensions, because you can put more weight up here, you can put weight here, you can put weight here, and it might give you the same spec, but a different feeling. So this racket has a lot more plow through, in my opinion. You can generate huge power off it, yet it's still
fast,
amazingly maneuverable.
Yeah, it's fast.
And so this somehow is just absolute magic. This is kind of nipping at its heels a little bit. It's in the range. I can't say it's as good, but it's giving you closer to this.
Got it.
Spend the extra $100 and get this, but look at how gorgeous that thing is. I mean, you're going to walk out on the court, you're going to pull that out, and that's good for the first 3 games to you, because your opponent's going to say, "Holy cow, look at that bad boy."
Right. So, how close are these two? So this is, I mean, obviously 100% there. This is what percent there?
80%.
80%.
85 maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's getting there.
The magic in this racket, I feel, is that it is stiff where it needs to be.
So let me just, real quick, I forgot about this. So the thing about this racket, which is really interesting, again, who knows what's inside of it, how they've laid up the carbon. They have tapered this down right here. If you can see that taper in here, we can measure it if we need to. But
let's take a look at that.
If you look at the comparison, this is a pretty straight through. This tapers down. So what does that do? What do you feel on this racket when you hit this racket? When you hit the ball and start putting some pace on it, it's actually flexing right here. So this racket, when you hit it, it actually catapults the ball.
Mm-hmm.
The whole racket's like a catapult. You can actually hit the ball hard and see it accelerate through the air, or at least that's how it feels.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of the magic here, is they've tuned it down here. And who knows what else they've done everywhere else. But that was one thing I noticed and felt right away. This is going to be much stiffer.
So let's look at the old one that I deem as a favorite one. Let's look at those two now. Is it there?
It doesn't have that taper at the bottom.
It doesn't have that taper on.
I've never seen that taper on anything else.
Okay.
Yeah. Other than the Wilson, I tried to sand down to replicate that. But
interesting.
That wasn't a good idea.
Okay.
All right.
So 80% to Regna.
I'll give it 85.
Okay.
I can't give it a 95, but
but it's good. Okay.
It's good. It has qualities. And again, there were some things I did with that racket yesterday that I was pretty surprised by, because it's so maneuverable. So if you like precision, you want a scalpel, you want to be able to hit the lines, that's a fantastic racket.
All right, so we've compared Regna V298 to 95, the new Vcore. Unfortunately, Dan the Man hasn't tried the old 95 that I call Magic 2. But I'm going to hand this over to Dan.
Well, you have to do it.
No, that's the Regna. I only do Regna like that. And we're going to continue on another video to see if they've, one, made this one as good as that one, and two, is their Regna specifics, feel, stiffness, and all the above in that one, okay, compared to this one. All right, because we want to see if Yonex actually does anything more on this Regna to any other racket. And I'm thinking these are the magic rackets that have this kind of a characteristic. All right, Dan, thank you, my man.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Always a pleasure.
All right,
appreciate you inviting me.
We're going to get him out trying that. Guys, thank you for watching Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis. Coach Good, check this out. Swing Vision got new commercial out.
Oh.
Check out his James Blake and Roddick. Oh my God. He's still playing?
I mean, he's still playing.
Whoa. Whoa. What? Dude.
That's damn fast.
I can do it. I can do it, dude. Back in the day, I could do that. I could totally do that, dude. You can do that. You can do that. Let's go, man. We can show them how it's done. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
All right.
85 miles per hour.
That can't be right.
No, that's definitely right. Man.
88 miles per hour.
That's not a gigawatt.
One more. Watch me.
78 miles per hour.
Hey, man.
Something wrong with this program.
Nah, that's just you, bro.
You try.
Fine,
Let's
okay,
see what
I'll do it. I'll do it.
You're going to go 69 right here.
127 miles per hour.
You can check out your serve speed on Swing Vision 2.
Doc, we got an issue.